Once upon a time, in a shining kingdom called Lysoria, a queen gave birth to a daughter unlike any seen before. Her name was Allora. Eloura's hair shimmered like moonlight on water, golden blonde with soft glints of lilac, and her eyes, glowing like twilight skies. The people whispered she was touched by magic, but on the night of her naming ceremony, when the stars were brightest, she disappeared. The queen screamed. The king sent guards across every mountain and river, but there was no sign of the baby, no broken window, no footprints. Just a feather, dark and twisted. The kingdom mourned, and deep in the hills, in a tower no one knew existed, a woman rocked a baby in silence. Allora grew up in a tower wrapped in vines. There were no stairs, only a ladder the woman would raise and lower herself. The girl was told, "The world is dangerous. Only I can keep you safe." The woman called herself Mother Myra. She wore black robes and carried a staff made from stormwood. Her voice was soft but sharp. She taught Allora to sing, to read, to mix herbs, but never to ask questions. And she never let her near the mirror. "You're special, Allora," she'd whisper. "That's why the world wants to hurt you." Allora believed her, until she turned 16. One day, while brushing her hair at the window, Allora heard something strange. Music. Real music. Not the kind Myra hummed. She leaned out, heart racing, and saw a boy on the ground below, riding a white horse. He wore a faded cloak, a satchel, and a curious look. "Hello," he called. Allora's breath caught. No one had ever spoken to her before. "Are you a ghost?" he joked, smiling. She giggled. "I don't think so. My name's Kyle," he said. "I didn't know anyone lived in this forest. Neither did she." Every day after that, Kyle came back. Allora would lower a rope made from old scarves and ribbons. He never climbed, just talked, listened, made her laugh. He brought her stories of the kingdom, of markets, mountains, fire festivals, of the king and queen who once lost a baby. "Her name was Allora," he said once. "Strange name, right?" Allora froze. He didn't notice, but she did. That night, Allora asked Myra about her name. "Where did it come from?" Myra's eyes darkened. "Names mean nothing. What matters is who raised you." But Allora had already started to wonder. When Myra left for a moonlit herb gathering, Allora snuck into the locked room. There, under a cloth, was the mirror. Its frame was made of twisted vines. Its glass shimmered like water. When she touched it, images swirled. A castle, a crib, a crown, and a woman with silver tears calling her name. "Allora!" The glass cracked. Allora stumbled back, gasping. When Myra returned, Allora confronted her. "Who am I?" she demanded. "What did you take from me?" Myra's calm melted into rage. "You are mine. I saved you from a world that wanted your power." She raised her staff. Lightning sparked. But Allora's voice, strong and clear, rang out in a lullaby she had never remembered learning. The storm stilled. Kyle, who had climbed up to warn her, burst through the door just in time. "Come with me," he said, reaching out. Allora hesitated, then took his hand. They fled down the tower, through the woods. Myra followed, on a storm cloud. Allora's hair glowed in the moonlight, guiding Kyle forward. Myra's voice screamed behind them. "She is mine!" But the moment Allora crossed the river's edge, something shifted. The storm dissolved. The air grew warm. A hidden sigil on her wrist, a birthmark of the royal family, began to glow. They reached the castle gates days later, exhausted, half-starved. No one believed them until Allora sang the lullaby. The queen gasped. The king collapsed to his knees. "My daughter, she's come home." Allora cried for the first time in years, but healing wasn't instant. Allora had to learn who she was all over again. She missed the forest. She missed the quiet. She missed parts of the tower. but she also learned the names of stars, walked gardens, wore gowns spun with sunlight, laughed with her new sisters, and every day Kyle visited with stories, flowers, and questions. He never treated her like a princess. He just called her Eloura. On her 18th birthday, the kingdom gathered. The queen placed a crown on Eloura's head, not because she was a princess, but because she had chosen truth over comfort, courage over fear. And when Kyle stood beside her, she smiled wider than any portrait. The people cheered, but Allora looked to the sky and whispered one final word. Free!